talking about the Zerg player, we have him now to the top left of the match. Game number 1 is taking place on Belshia Vestige. This is the LGIM Zerg player. It is
LGIM Kangho from Korea.
How did he pronounce the Korean name wrong?
I don't know. I don't know how Street Fighter Voice is actually mispronouncing the Korean, but well, we have now to the bottom right, also from Korea, but not really from Korea, the player for Axiom Acer, or for Team Axiom, my apologies. It is
Axiom Alicia from America.
So you mean not actually from America, but not actually from America? Or are you saying, because you said Korean, but not actually from Korea?
Well, both is true, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of
perspective.
Yeah, perspective. Yeah, well said.
It's just kind of funny, you know. For me, also with us casting the Team League all the time, it's just this Axiom Acer is so embedded in my brain that every time I see one of these players, I'm automatically jumping to that, and it's a little bit interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so we talked about the dominance that we had for Alicia in this matchup, and if you look at the performance that we had for him at the Season 1 America Premier League, you could see that he only lost a single best-of-3 against Zerg. He lost against Snoot, but that was the only Zerg player that was able to take him down. Everyone else Alicia defeated. He took down Snoot, he took down Moonglade, he won against Nestea, he took out Sen. He is just such a strong player these days in this matchup, and it's not going to be easy for Kangho, for Lucira here.
Yeah, he is. He's actually only played 3 games against Protoss and Heart of the Swarm in televised matches, and he lost 2 of them, losing to SOS and Panic. The only one he won was in GSTL when he played against Crank in April.
Yeah, one of those being played online, the 2 offline matches that he played, he lost both of them. And this just shows that sometimes there's a huge discrepancy between your offline and your online performance. Yeah. That's something that haunted Hyun for a long time.
Very true, and something else to note is that, you know, those games that he played, he only played a few. He's been playing the other matchups in Code S. Going into this game, though, Alicia is going for a gateway expand. He already has his core almost finished, and Kangho is starting to find out.
He started with double hatch before pool.
That's insane, especially considering he's going up against a gateway build here.
That is nuts. I mean, the guy is taking such a risk in this game. I really saw him going into... I saw him going into the hatch first, and I was like, you know what, this is actually fine. And I wanted to talk about this after we mentioned the statistics in the matchups here. But because it's actually a really smart idea to go into the hatch first these days when so many Protoss players are trying to go into gateway first instead of forge first, so you're kind of safe. Just have to make sure that you know what you're up against. But then suddenly he drops the second hatch, and I'm like, what on earth is he doing? This is amazing. This is... well,
it actually can work.
It can work. At the same time, it's also risky. This is one of those scenarios when it works, you are a boss. You are an absolute boss, and everyone is like, oh my god, you are so smart. When it doesn't work, you will be completely flamed. People will be like, how can you do that? That could never have worked.
Econ cheese. Somebody's gonna pull out the econ cheese term. You ever hear that? And somebody says econ cheese, and you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. So then everyone will be like, oh, I knew it from the beginning when I saw that this would not work. As it is, he is very confident in his abilities to make that happen. And we talked a lot about how players will prepare for this group. This is the first game that Lucira, aka Kangho, has to play against Alicia. So you can bet that he prepared a ton for this match. And this is not a build that he just throws out and is like, well, you know what, I'm just gonna try it. He really thought about it, and he analyzed Alicia's play. And with all the games that Alicia played at WCS Season 1 in America, he played a lot of those games on this map in particular. So right now, Kangho is taking a build that he personally thinks will beat Alicia's style.
Yeah, Alicia, the problem for him is he's very blind right now. He has no idea what Kangho did. And maybe this is why he's doing it. He knows Alicia doesn't scout very often. Stargate is shown here to the Overlord, so he knows what's happening. And he can start spores whenever he wants to. With the third hatchery, he has a lot more minerals than you would normally have at this stage of the game, so he can certainly afford the spores. And the Overlord will slowly but steadily be killed here. But the Mothership Core now knows what's going on, and he's got to be a little bit stressed about this.
At this point, we have a 3-base economy for Kangho. He has a really strong count in Harvesters, and he knows exactly what his opponent is up to. Burrow is being researched. We have also him going straight into the lair take here, taking the extra gases in the main base. He only built Zerglings so far. He didn't bother with Lings at all. If he now hits good timings to defend against this early aggression, he will be in an amazing position. And what is going to help him a lot with it are those extra queens that he invested in.
Yeah. Time Warp may go down the queens to secure the Zealots some kills here. He needs to be very careful with that Mothership Core because it cannot deal with the queen alone like this.
Oh, what a great block here. Trying to keep those Zealots away from the queens by just using a few drones and putting them on hold position. The Zealots just not understanding what is happening here and trying to push through. But this is great micro that we see by Kangho so far.
Yeah, he holds and he doesn't really lose a whole lot. I mean...
That was a great defense. That was Kangho looking at Alicia and it's like, really? You thought that would do damage?
It's part of the problem is Alicia didn't scout, but, you know... Kangho definitely knowing how to defend, just some basic pressure here with his queens, making the additional ones. His lair is already done, by the way, and even though he lost some overlords, he's already remade them. He starts a Hydralisk Den now.
That timing is amazing. I really love this. The problem that you have with taking early third base against Protoss is that if there is a gateway attack, when the Protoss player starts with a gateway first, of course, then it's so difficult to hold this third. But Alicia, he didn't scout and he just went down his... He executed his build without reacting to what was actually going on the map, and that is what he's paying for right now. Yes, he's picking off a few overlords with those phoenixes, but if Kangho plays this well, then he should have a magnificent lead in this game going up against his pro's opponent.
Yeah. Robotic support bay now on the way, and that's of course going to help him against the Hydralisk, but Kangho has a few timings he can use depending on how many Hydras he wants to make. He's definitely going to get this cancel down on the Nexus. The Lings go over there and say no.
Losing the queens was an issue, or at least the one queen that we saw being picked off, but oh, he gets both of the sentries, and he doesn't even have speed.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Don't ask me.
I'm speechless, Wolf. This is like, without speed links taking down both sentries, forcing a cancel on the third base. Can he get any better than that?
Maybe he got 3 sentries. That's the only way.
But now look at the tech that we have here. Going into the Hydralisk, Hydra speed, armor upgrades. He could have saved a few additional overlords, but if you disregard that, the opening for Kangho is great.
It's ideal, and now it looks like Alicia might just try to hit a Colossus timing. Well, he does remake the third, but the thing is, now that Kangho has this many Hydras and he has the Hydra speed, he can actually walk across the map and hit that third base before the Colossi is ready, or at least before the second one is there. He's not going to have a lot of gateway units to support it.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if he's actually going to do it, but he could at least apply some pressure. The thing is, he doesn't start any additional attack, and he does not... Well, he knows about the attempt to take the third earlier, but he doesn't know if Alicia tries to retake it, or if Alicia is just now looking at the games like, you know what, screw this, I have to attack right now, I can't take the third anymore. So as soon as he finds that out, he will probably also add additional attack, but for now you're completely right. He's just building up a massive army, and he could use it in a very aggressive fashion, but I would expect him to try to take a fourth base behind this.
Yeah, I agree. And he's kind of missed his window now. See, he's moving across the map, but the second Colossus along with range will be here soon. Great micro here by Alicia. Tries to pick off a Hydra. Doesn't lose any of his Phoenixes. Doesn't get the Hydra either, but, you know, he's just trying to delay this as much as he can. He starts cannons now. And even though he has the second Colossus about to pop out, I'm still not sure if he's going to be able to hold this.
You know, without range, the Hydralisks have soon to be the same range as the Colossi. It's just not there yet. The range upgrade is done, though. Now they have exactly the same range, and now suddenly he can attack this Colossus.
Oh,
and the
he's
Colossi
got a great
is being
flank.
attacked immediately. Another one comes in from the right, but the first one is already down.
Phoenix is going in here to help out, and Alicia, even though he's got a lot of damage on that Colossus, he doesn't have any support for it really. Even the cannon on the Nexus is not enough.
He's not able to push through quite yet, Kangho that is. The problem really being the cannons and the additional setup with the photon overcharge that we see at the third base. But the pressure that we see is really worth a lot. And he's picking off units left, right, bottom and center every single time. A Phoenix here, a Zealot there. He's doing a good job. And once those links get into the main base, it might actually be curtains for Alicia.
Yeah.
Alicia is walking a very thin line here.
You know, left, bottom, and center. In this case, it's going to be mostly the center as he breaks through the wall. Sends the Lings over. Now there's not a lot of gateway units here for Alicia. The Hydra's doing so much at the back. The Phoenix is not very useful here. The Time Warp not useful either, and that Colossus will certainly fall.
The Zerglings running in, and the Hydralisks, they lend their strength to this attack. Another Colossus comes out and saves Alicia's backside for now. Now the Colossus just pushing the Zerglings barely back.
And the Muta transition is on the way. 12 of them on the way as we speak.
Oh, 12 of them at... you know, if you... he had such a good economy behind this, and him having 12 Mutalisks that are unscouted of all things. I mean, it's not like we have an observer somewhere on the map that sees like, okay, well, you go Mutalisk, yeah, I have my Blink already, set up a few Stalkers.
The 4 non-Blink Stalkers that Alicia has to defend this are not adequate.
No, not at all. And the 4th base, as expected, is being built behind it. Kangho's macro is mind-blowing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's had too much time, and the observer doesn't even see the mutas. It's way too late. He already had the Blink on the way, but he doesn't have a Mothership Core for overcharge. He doesn't have any cannons. And, I mean, what is he going to do? He starts 3, 4, 5, 6 Stalkers at once, but they're all in range of the mutas. The mutas actually just fight them here.
Yeah, they're immediately being attacked while they're being warped in. No problem.
And the bounce damage also kills probes. Well, I mean, he can fight the Stalkers and kills probes at the same time.
Alicia is going for a counter aggression. He's looking at this like, I cannot play this game. I cannot play this. There is just no way. I have to do something. I'm being attacked at the 3rd. I'm being attacked in the main base. He has Mutalisks.
Targeting the pylons is so smart here. Oh, goes for the core instead. This is even more intelligent.
But Wolf, to be quite frank with you, with all those spine crawlers that Kangho builds now, with him being on 4 bases and just building Mutalisks, Mutalisks, and Mutalisks, I do not see a scenario where Alicia can win a base race against.
I don't think so. He'll never be able to kill the Mutalisks. As long as he can keep some drones alive, there's not enough anti-air. Wings come out here. They're going to buy just enough time. The rest of the meters should be able to clear this army up. Blink is almost finished. Alicia trying to make this work. Finally send some units over to defend the Hydras.
But there's not enough anti-air. These few Stalkers that we have, even with the Guardian Shield, the Mutalisks are just going to take them apart in seconds, and that's exactly what's happening here. The Mutalisks are having a field day. There's no Mothership Core for recall.
The Wing's about to come down that ramp. Oh, a good force field here, but it's still not enough. The Colossi doing massive amounts of damage, but it's the problem of the anti-air.
Yeah, I mean, the base is down, but he still has 2 additional ones, 3 in total, and the entire army is just being obliterated here. Alicia is down to 70 supply against 115.
He never killed the Hydras on the left side. Those Zealots actually did not do the job, so he lost every single probe at that base. Finally cleans them up as I speak.
He's now done with the Cybernetics core, so he can start to warp in additional Stalkers in addition to the Phoenixes that he was starting to build. The problem is, though, he never built up that bank behind it that he can now use to make it happen.
Right, now he's a 3-base Zerg up against a Protoss that has 3 bases, yes, but there's not a single probe mining minerals in the main base. The 3rd base is very low on saturation. GG.
Alicia acknowledging what Kangho already knew. This game is over. We have a 1-0 lead now for the Korean player.
Yes.
So for the LGIM Zerg here. Kangho with an amazing game.
Amazing game. Risky strategy. Great execution.